and welcome to this brand new show, which is called COVID Lifeline. Well, with what the current COVID situation in India and the efforts of our local Silicon Valley technologists, IITians, ITians, non-profits, volunteers, and all other residents to help out, we will be running this show every day on Radio Zindagi to keep you updated on the different aspects of the situation. Tune into this COVID Lifeline show with Sanjiv Goyal on Radio Zindagi 1170 AM every day between 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. This program is supported by Droices, NTTVC, and the IIT Delhi Excellence Foundation. And now I will hand over the mic to Sanjiv. Hi, Sanjiv. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Ira. I'm so glad and thanks for inviting us. Today, I have a very special guest and dear friend of mine, Ravi Amble too. And we are going to really talk about what's happening on the ground, share some latest information, what we are learning, and how can our audience help India in this fight. So, Ravi, why don't you introduce a little bit about yourself and share your experience and where are you, how are you helping India today?
Then thank you very much for inviting me to this show, Sanjiv. And thank you very much for making me a little part of your awesome leadership and initiative in this apocalyptic, catastrophical situation India is facing. My background, to be brief, I've been a serial entrepreneur for 20-some years with 4 exits. Most importantly, my telemedicine journey has been for almost 17 years, with NASA being my springboard, where we developed an algorithm that could transmit information real time over hybrid networks. So if people didn't know, and if you did, NASA has a medical innovation technology program called MEDITAC that they run out of the Virginia Commonwealth University. We came under a clinical trial with MEDITAC being introduced by the founding president of the American Telemedicine Association, and an anesthesiologist connected into a mobile surgical unit in Ecuador, where a person was undergoing a gallbladder operation, and she was able to save the life of that person using our algorithm.
Wow.
So what happened here?
What it does really for a layman, so it is some technology like a computer vision technology, which is helping and guiding the person who is on the ground. How does it work?
Yes. During those times, Sanjiv, very simple. We had a software running on one desktop where the provider or the doctor, let's say, is able to observe the vital signs being measured, remotely, so to speak. And I struck a deal with Polycom for the desktop video and developed synchronization software. Okay.
Impressive.
So, yes.
So let's talk about today's context, Ravi, because right now we are in almost war situation.
Yes.
And situation is almost worse, if not same as New York last year. And yes. I collected some stat. So US spend close to $4 trillion a year on healthcare.
Yes.
That is almost 27% of our GDP.
Yes.
India's total GDP is less than $3 trillion.
Yes.
India spend 3% of that on their GDP.
Yes.
India's population is 5 times of what US population is.
Yes.
So the complexities are far more as compared to US and India. So we cannot compare both economies.
Yes.
Now, in this scenario and the situation we have right now, everybody's talking about oxygen concentrator is number 1. What is your take on that? Why oxygen concentrator is so important and so critical?
Yes. So if you understand how a oxygen concentrator works, let's take it. When we take our atmosphere, the atmosphere has about 21% of oxygen. Now, the job of an oxygen concentrator is to take the atmospheric air and enrich the oxygen by eliminating nitrogen for people whose pulse oxygenation is over 80. So this becomes very, very important. People need to pay very close attention to this. Let's say somebody, all normal, healthy people would have somewhere over 95% oxygenation in their blood. So when that starts dropping, the threshold that you have to watch here is when it falls below 90. The next threshold that you got to watch is when it starts falling below 85. Now we need to nip it in the bud, so to speak, arrest. It's an arresting situation where the oxygen concentrator becomes very crucial in helping the lungs take in more oxygen so their oxygenation comes back to normal values. Now, if in the absence of an oxygen concentrator and the oxygenation drops below 80, you need an oxygen tank. You need continuous flow of oxygen, so to speak. Now, there are some huge delivery problems here. India manufactures enough of oxygen, but the containers are not sufficient. There is a deficit of containers, so to speak. And
Distribution problem.
yes, it's a huge problem. So preemption is always very good. Like we say, proactive healthcare is always very good because reactive healthcare becomes overwhelming, very expensive, and it is not time sensitive.
No, completely agree. And that's what we are seeing on the ground for our listeners is
Yes.
there are a lot of plants in India, which are nitrogen plants, can be easily converted to oxygen. And the need for that is only an element called zeolite.
Right.
And we are looking for suppliers for that from the IIT community. If you know anyone who can supply, who is a credible supplier of zeolite, please do reach out to us.
Yeah.
But the big thing what Ravi and me are talking about is up to 80% is not a supercritical state. Can I say that?
Yes, you
It's a
can.
critical, but it's not supercritical. Now, what we are finding, I talked to several doctor friends of mine. In fact, even the medical superintendent of Noida Government Hospital, Noida Government Hospital, she is running a 300-bed hospital. Renu is her name. She hasn't even slept in last 7 days properly. She hasn't gone home. All her family, because even her son and her husband, they are all doctor. They're working in this government hospital. Now, the challenge they are having is, which I find it very strange, they don't have oxygen plant in the hospitals. India doesn't really have that. And that is what is really causing a lot of issues for our audience, so you know. And we are looking at a long-term solution, not just for now. We are helping some hospitals even set up. We are donating these oxygen plants now. Ravi, you may not know about it. That's a new initiative we are working on.
That is fantastic.
So we have imported some machines. Noida location will have their own oxygen plant. So the advantage of that is now they have this oxygen forever. They don't have to buy these tanks. And it can produce 80 tanks a day. So that can save almost, I will say, because one tank is good enough for 1.5 days. That's what I've been told for, and that too for supercritical patients. So we'll be able to save 100 to 200 lives per day, roughly.
Yes.
And that's the beauty of this. So we have to think long-term. We have to think, how can we build the infrastructure in India so there is no logistics issues like what we are dealing with today. There is plenty of oxygen in the nature, but we are not able to harness it. So Ravi, now the situation is getting very complex and everybody is trying to ship these oxygen concentrators.
Yes.
What is your take on that overall?
Good question. I wish I had a.
I mean, how many more we need? Do we need 1 million more, 2 million more?
Overwhelming. See, let's look at some of the stats here where the system needs to start really working and shift gears and go to the next level. Only 2% of the country is vaccinated.
Wow. Just 2% as of now?
2%.
And we are the largest producer of the COVID vaccine. So what happened to that?
Exactly. So I do not have all the reasons. I have some reasons which I cannot express. But the bottom line here is overall education. Number one, not to kind of deviate from this, it becomes individual responsibility. Basic hygiene, sanitization becomes very, very important. Lifestyle is very, very important. If you see two predominant health issues amongst all us Indians, because God has made us this way, is congenital heart diseases and diabetes. Now, if you take these cases, it doesn't help with bad nutrition and bad habits. Excessive fried food, excessive smoking, excessive
Ravi,
drinking
Ravi,
does
that's
not
not
help.
right now. Let's not talk about health
Yes.
issues.
So I
Let's
don't want to
focus on
deviate
the
from
problem.
there. I
So the
don't want to deviate from there. So to keeping the focus to this now, refilling cylinders, if there are manufacturing plants that have the capability to refill oxygen cylinders, how? If there's a refilling center, and let's say there's a company that has enough number of transportation vehicles, can they use their vehicles and their resources to go to these refilling centers to fill and distribute these oxygen cylinders
so
to
I
the,
have interesting question on that.
yes,
The question is, we have so many LPG cylinders,
yes,
liquid petroleum gas, right?
correct.
Why can't we just reuse those? I'm not clear. I'm asking like a layman, because I was thinking in my head, we have in like every house, 3 of those sitting, in my opinion. Why can't we clean it and use those for
That's
oxygen?
a great question. And I'm not educated enough to answer you that, but common sense tells me that it needs to be reconfigured. That's all. Because some of these,
Because the pressure issues or something?
yes, please.
So it's
And definitely it can be used. It can
because
certainly be used.
I'm an engineer, so I have to find a solution of the problem. And I'm looking at
Absolutely,
it
please.
because I can't create something out of thin air, but there is something there. Can I repurpose it?
Yes,
And
please.
I can think of these LPG cylinders as an easy approach. So we are working with a group right now to convert 20 nitrogen generators into oxygen. We are trying to procure zeolite for that, so we have partial success. That's one problem we are dealing with. Uh, to our listeners, if you have sources, abilities, and if you have option to donate to some hospital so they can set up their oxygen generation unit, I personally believe that is a long-term solution, because
That
you
is
are not
very
only
true.
solving the problem for now, you're solving the problem for long term. However, the hospital should be at least, I'm assuming, 300 to 500 beds. That's what I've been told for a smaller plant. There is one company in Germany promised that they can do this in 3 days. I don't know how true it is. We are getting to the bottom of it, but we are really, at least our alumni association and all the people I have on the ground, we are so focused on fixing this problem, not only for today, we want to solve it for future too.
Yes.
If you have any ideas or questions, please call us. Please call our studio or message us on the Facebook. We'll be happy to answer that. So Ravi, changing the gear a little bit, there is another question around which NGO to donate.
Yes. Yes.
And it's just very chaotic, even for me personally, and I'm representing few of those, and I'm really at loss. What do I do?
Where I can probably help you a little bit is when we set up the telemedicine network in India, we worked with several NGOs for the standpoint where they would be the local individuals to ensure that that telemedicine operation would work well. So I have a list, and I'd be more than happy to share that with you. These are amazing individuals, unsung heroes, and I'd be more than happy to collaborate with you on that.
Sure. So that will be great, Ravi, if you can share that information with us, and especially on the ground. Now, another question people are asking me constantly, we are also shipping a few hundred of oxygen generators next week, and we are working on a very large chunk of oxygen generators. How we ensure that these goes to the right people? And I'm kind of, it's counterintuitive to me because I'm supposed to be answering this question, but I'm asking you because you have helped us get almost 100 plus donors and you are one of our champions. So why us? Why not somebody else?
Yeah, very true. Yeah, like you said, one of the things I've noticed, one of the reasons, to be honest with you, I'm a little part of your initiative, maybe a little part of this initiative, absolutely. is only from the standpoint as to, the type of person you are,
Thank you.
the value system that you hold. It all goes down to the individual. Individuals make everything happen. For anything to work, it's all about people, like-minded people coming together. So having said that, you're absolutely right. I mean, you probably might have answered that yourself by approaching your alumnus at IIT New Delhi. And these are highly educated, highly valued individuals. And the very fact that you've also thought about a lot of things already in terms of going into the Indian Administrative Service, going perhaps with somebody from the Delhi IIT alumnus that is an Indian administrative officer is the way to go. No pun intended. No pun intended. But in this crisis that we are facing, which is unsurmounted and unprecedented, you need highly truthful, sincere, dedicated, patriotic individuals to kind of take this to the last mile, ensure that it is being applied to where it needs to be.
So now, Ravi, one more question people are asking a lot of time, and I'm not able to respond to that. They want to send these oxygen concentrators to their friends and family members. So
Yeah.
do you know a better way so they can do it? Because I'm representing nonprofits, so I haven't done enough work in that area.
Very good question. Maybe I have an answer for you because you've already set the destinations. You already have a list of destinations. Let's say I'm originally from Bangalore. So the OCs, the oxygen concentrators are going to Bangalore to a specific nonprofit, right? A nonprofit organization, let's say, is
We are
identified.
supporting only nonprofits, so yes.
Yeah. Then we can inform a friend or a family member that is in need of it to approach that particular individual at the nonprofit, physically go there and collect it.
Well, I cannot say collect it, but they can request it, and if it is
They can request it. So, absolutely.
But at least we are ensuring that there are some units available.
Yes.
We have, as you know, it's a pretty limited supply. So our promise to everybody is these nonprofit will be completely unbiased. Whoever comes first, they will take care of the person or whoever needs it.
Yes.
But yes, absolutely. But there is still a desire. So somebody reached out to me and they said, hey, Sanjiv, can you do a plan where we can do 1-on-1? So one person, my family member receive 1 unit and 1 unit comes to you. And I thought of it, but our charter doesn't allow that. IIT Delhi Excellence Foundation or IIT Alumni. What do you think about that? Is some other organization should take it up, or is it too complex to execute?
Let me
Because
put it
last
this
thing
way.
we want is,
Let me put it this way. You are a very successful businessman.
Thank
you. In every facet in life, goodwill is the most important thing. We can sign on the dotted line. We can have many contracts, but then if you don't trust my word, and if I don't trust your word, and there is nothing out there,
True.
So somebody else will make a whole lot of money in the bargain. So, so having said that, 1-to-1, I don't know if there is an entity that really makes a case that there are people that are desperately in need for that. It does not enunciate that. Let me give you my own example. I have lost 6 family members to COVID since April 5th.
I'm sorry.
So in this kind of a situation, if there is somebody, a family member that cannot afford an oxygen concentrator, is in a desperate need, that is justified. But to say 1-to-1, it doesn't strike logic. There are so many people that need this, and this is about humanity.
I agree with you. And that is my answer to all those people are asking me. You have to think of a greater good. If you try to buy these devices and it's sitting in your basement and your garage, what is the point?
Exactly.
This device has to be utilized.
Correct.
Work with any association, does not matter. It's IIT, alumni, or anybody else. Send things, make sure it is utilized. That's the most important thing I personally would like to see.
One thing that is very, very important that I failed to bring at the top of this talk show is the extremely important value of the oxygen concentrator is optimization of patient bed and patient bedtime.
Yeah.
That is extremely important.
So now changing the gear a little bit. So the new initiative today we have taken as IT alumni, Ravi, is we have this Slack channel. You are welcome to join, and we are encouraging people to join because we find WhatsApp and all is too confusing, too complicated. You can't search anything. So we are assimilating all the resources at one place. So anybody wants to help out or anybody wants some information, you're welcome to join and see what's happening. Another one we are planning to start is hopefully soon we are recruiting a lot of doctors. We will start a Slack channel which will be continuously monitored by number of doctors and physicians. You can ask question and they can respond to you or give you some idea and tell you, hey, this is too critical, you should go to the hospital or you can manage it this way. We can't make recommendations, but we can at least provide some basic level of help. That's something we are starting from tomorrow. What is your take on that?
That is fantastic. See, digital health is very important. And specifically, telemedicine and telehealth is extremely important, not only now, but going forward.
So that's an appeal, Ravi, to our audience. If you know doctors who can spare 1 hour, half an hour of their time and trained here or in India available, please reach out to me through Facebook or Instagram, Sanjiv Goyal Futurist at Instagram, or write to Radio Zindagi show. We are seeking doctors who can help us in the time of need. All they have to do is man this Slack channel and respond to any query. If it is coming for half an hour, 1 hour, it will be really, really great help. So people are asking me, how can they help? So the only two ways we can help, Ravi. One is by donating. Second is donating time.
Yes.
There are only two ways. And I personally think donating time is far more fulfilling. Yes, I'm grateful to all my friends who can't devote time to this and they are writing checks. Great, good for them. And thank you very much for their contribution to the society and us. But time is the most difficult and important commodity. If you can devote your time, we'll be really grateful. So think how you can do that. And the last one is resources. What kind of resources you have available? I'm so humbled. People are reaching out to me and they say, hey, I have 200 oxygen concentrators here. I have 500 oxygen concentrators here. Can you help me? Can you donate? Can you bring these? And we are working with several such groups. So we can get these oxygen concentrators shipped very quickly. In fact, Air India also reached out to me. I mean, I'm so grateful. Even Indian High Commission has also reached out to me. I mean, it's the first time I don't have to even pick up the phone and call. They are calling me and say, hey, how can we help? How can we help? So please, no, thank you.
Absolutely. What I'm going to do from my little bit is I'm connected with the Telemedicine Society of India. Mm-hmm. The Telemedicine Society of India comprises of some of the most prominent doctors and healthcare professionals in the country. It'll be my pleasure to promote this appropriately, and I will do my very best to connect them to this program.
That'll be awesome, Ravi. Thank you very much. Our show is about to end, but one last information I want to share with our audience is this is a great way you can help. You don't have to join our Slack channel. You are 10 doctor friend, 20 doctor friend, start something. We'll be happy to share your information. Mental wellness for healthcare workers. The biggest need right now is healthcare workers. They are stressed. They are working 16 hours, 18 hours, 20 hours. And a lot of these people doesn't even get proper wages. And that's where, Ravi, it's the biggest challenge lie right now. They are the people who are in forefront, putting their life in danger. Yes. And we are not really taking care of them. So one thing I definitely will request everyone to think about it is their mental wellness. If you have somebody in your family who is remotely even associated with healthcare workers or he's in this space, please call them. Please thank them for their job. Thank them for their service. They are the reason, because without them, there is no oxygen concentrator can help your family members and my family members. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Absolutely, please. And I am connected. I have 7 doctors in my family in Bangalore, matter of fact, between Bangalore and Chennai. And we are connected personally, from my family standpoint, we are connected to at least a few major hospitals in Bangalore.
So please, and if you have any ideas or suggestion, Ravi, for healthcare workers, do share with us. I love to share with our audience tomorrow. We will be back tomorrow between 3 to 4. We are here to serve you. Please do not hesitate to send your questions to me, Ravi, And we have a lot of phenomenal people coming and helping. I'm so grateful, Ravi. I can't even tell you how much support I have from every single person.
That is awesome. And in my humble opinion, every individual connected in any form or manner with healthcare is a true champion.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you very much.
The best of health and safety.
Thank you.
Thank you.